My name is Amsa Yaro and I am an artist. I am originally from Nigeria, but I have been living as a Londoner for the past 7 years now. And with everything that has been going on with my art career and all of that, I call myself a mixed media artist as well because I use a lot of different types of materials. But for now, it's really heavily filled with lots of paper. Paper used in different ways as my clay or as fabric. And I get to play around with paper to get the exact texture that I'm looking for. And I'm really excited with all of the prospects that are in the future for me here in London.
So my name's David Bobier. I'm a media artist with a fairly long career. I grew up in the area of London, Ontario, but lived in various parts of Canada, taking on different positions within the arts. I do a lot of installation work as well as work on paper and with beeswax and caustic, which you'll see here in a minute. But I also have a project that's been going since 2014, I think, called Vibrafusion Lab, which is essentially a research project that explores vibration as a creative medium and has taken me into working predominantly within the deaf and disabled arts community. And what took me to that was that both my children are deaf. They're adults now, but both deaf.
To be honest, I think artists are the reflectors of society. For me, they have to talk about what's going on. And everyone's view is different. Everyone's perspective is different. Mm-hmm. So it means that there's someone out there that would understand exactly what your work is saying. Mm-hmm. And that way, just for that alone, it means that you have already attracted someone to know or to be informed about what Up with Art is about, generally. Mm-hmm. Hopelessness or helping people in need and all of those things. And I mean, we're all on this earth. We should all empathize with each other, not just with words, but with our actions as well. If you would not want to be in someone's situation whereby they don't have a home, they don't have a place where they feel safe, then I think you should help that person in whatever way you're able to at least try to see someone being uplifted from that. Nothing is too small. Yeah. Nothing is too different for you to be able to reach out that hand.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. And I think, while we remain privileged, there's also, the possibility that could change for any given person. And
exactly.
That we have to acknowledge that there isn't that much of a separation between us. And as you say, humanity is humanity, and we need to contribute and share as much as we possibly can. I think artists are generous people to begin with.
True.
Tend to be. And I also think many others understand how close poverty can be, or mental illness, or any of those sort of challenges.
Yeah, because I think even pursuing your art career is already you playing with those things. Everyone believes that, artists are supposed to be starving. They're supposed to have patrons. If not for patrons, you are living on the streets.
Right.
And as much as we want to change that ideology, there is still some truth to it, because if you don't actually have people buying your work, supporting your vision, patronizing you and saying, okay, they really want to see you go far or be part of your journey. Yeah. It's very easy to see each and every one of us out there on the streets or even just looking for help in mental issues or anything else that can be going on. And so it's very easy for us to understand that point of view.
Yeah. And I think too, I find with UPwithART, and this has been consistent throughout the years, that there's an opportunity for established artists to contribute, but also reaching out to emerging artists.
Yes.
You know, and there is a possibility of gaining some recognition, obviously, through doing this. But I think that's really great. It's not just sort of looking at the artists that are, you know, well established and their work is valuable, you know, has certain value.
Yeah.
I think it's the emerging artists. And the thing about UPwithART is that the artists can either donate the value entirely or they can do a 50-50 so that they're also gaining some sort of, you know, so getting paid a little bit for the work as well. So there's always those sort of, that's openness for artists to contribute. So I think that is really good.
Yeah.
You know, there's some similarity
Yes.
here, right? The way that the surface
there
is treated.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've put on the pigments and then kind of gouged them out, right?
No, actually I used gesso.
Okay.
First of all.
Yeah.
Like a really thick layer, then quickly made all the lines and the markings at the back.
Yeah.
Then once it dried, I ended up making paper clay and filled in the men.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, like a
yeah, it's
paper that's all mushed and.
Yes, with glue.
Yeah. Okay.
And then filled in all the men.
Oh, okay.
And used was it a toothpick or something to end up like making all the markings and all of that.
Right. Back into the.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the application or the process is very similar.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what I do here, so it's beeswax, and I mix something called black earth powder.
Okay.
Which is an inert powder. It's not harmful to people. So that's what gives it that dense blackness.
Nice.
So I put on even surface or even layers of the black and caustic, and then I use dentist tools to carve out all the. So what you're seeing is it's actually on a piece of wood.
Okay.
So you're seeing the wood grain show through, or the wood show through.
Oh, nice.
But I have also sometimes worked on glass, doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So then when you clean it out, it gives it a transparency.
A see-through. Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. In terms of the imagery that you're using, I mean, I certainly see the influence of your heritage and your background. And I mean, that's clear that the way you should be able to speak is through your experience and your life so far. But the two figures, can you talk a little bit about them?
It was actually, well, I think it's because of the ongoing conversation that keeps going on. I mean, sometimes it's for fun, but also at the same time, there's the serious part of this conversation of the older generation and the younger generation.
Okay.
Whereby the older generation feels like the younger ones are not taking things as seriously as they should.
Right.
Meanwhile, the younger ones are like, but even though you're so serious, you left us this society at which we just have to struggle to even make ends meet.
Right. Yeah.
But then at the same time, they are actually reflections of each other in the sense that the older generation made the younger generation.
Yeah.
The younger generation at some point in time will become the older ones to the ones coming behind them. So we keep recycling the same things over and over again. But we fight ourselves instead of actually acknowledging that we are each other's products. Register at UPwithART.ca for the online auction April 19th to 23rd.